Hello, KC University students. You are attending Principles of Accounting and the Introduction to Accounting this semester 2021, second semesters. Welcome to my class. I am Professor Tony Kim to teach you this semester accounting subject. So I'm going to introduce this subject textbooks. I'm going to use Ifrs, Principles of Accounting. The authors are three professors, Yoon, Kim, and Johnson. Yoon, Kim, and Johnson. Yoon and Johnson is American University professors. Kim is the Korean University professors. They are very fluent in English. They published this IFRS Principles of Accounting textbook as in English. So I'm going to teach you this semester's accounting in English to you. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Tony Kim. I got a bachelor degree from Gyeongbuk National University, Daegu in Korea. My major was economics, and after that I got a job in Seoul. So 2 years of works. I went to Australia to study further. I went to University of New South Wales in Sydney in Australia. So I studied economics also. I have a lot of experience in Australia. I got many part-time jobs. I was research assistant for 4 years and library assistant also 4 years. Also, I have 2 years taxi cab driver in Sydney for 2 years. I met a lot of worldwide persons. So I got a lot of experience in overseas, Also, during my field experience, I completed doctor degree course at Cheongju University in Korea. My major was financial management. Also, I had a lot of field experience for almost 30 years, securities analyst and fund managers in Seoul. Also, in the universities, I have a lot of experience to teach students, and the Korean students and the overseas students. Teaching experience at the universities for 16 years. So still I am teaching in the universities. So welcome to my class. Also, the subject of the outline of this subject is to understand IFRS, Principles of Accounting, and to analyze financial statement, and also to understand financial statements and to analyze them. So I'm going to tell you first what does IFRS stand for, and also IAS, also IASB, also IASCs. IFRS stands for International Financial Reporting System. Also, that is part of IAS. IAS stands for International Accounting Standards. That is started since 2003 globally. In Korea, partly started since 2009, and since 2013, all Korean companies adopted IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard. Also, ISSB stands for International Accounting Standards Board, 국제회계기준이사회 in Korean words. IASC International Accounting Standard Committee 국제회계기준위원회에서 IFRS was adopted all over the world. In Korea, partly 2009, all company adopted 2013. Also, you are going to book is I'm going to use IFRS principles of accounting, So you had better order the books through 교보 bookstores, 교보 문고, or 영풍 문고 that they are in Seoul. So you had better order 교보 bookshop or 영풍 bookshop. Also, you had better order directory publishing companies. Publishing company is 신영사 in Korea. They published English textbook IFRS Principles of Accounting. Also, the price of the textbook is 23,000 won. 23,000 won. US dollar is almost to $20. But in Korean currencies, to 23,000 won. So, also if you send the to 23,000 won to publishing company's bank account, so you had better leave your name and the cell phone and address to above the email or cell phone. Cell phone number is 010-5341-8024 or email sys28945@naver.com. So you have to leave your name and cell phone and address to receive the books, Also, you have to send 23,000 won to 국민 bank account. Account number is 006 01 0441 145. Owner of 신영사 is 권영섭. Kwon YS. You had better order directly publishing company 신영사, or you had better order 교보문고 or 영풍문고 through internet. Anyway, you had better choose a direct order or through the bookstore. You had better, that's your choice. Now, I'm going to teach you the chapter 1. Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is Introduction to Financial Accounting. So that is the principles of accounting with the keywords in Korean. Yun Sun-seok and Kim Hyo-jin and Grace Johnson, 3 authors of this IFRS Principles of Accounting. That author are 3 professors, Yun Sun-seok is Western Illinois University. Kim Hyo-jin is Jeonju University. Grace Johnson is Marietta College. 3 professors wrote these textbooks. First, I'm going to tell you Objective 1. Objective 1 is Scope and the Purpose of Financial Accounting. Scope and the Purpose of Financial Accounting. Financial accounting means 2 definitions. One is a formal definition and another was informal definition. First, formal definition is system for measuring, evaluating, and communicating an enterprise's performance, financial position, and cash flows to external decision makers. Informal definition means language of business. Language of business is financial accounting. So you had better understand the financial accounting's definitions. One is a formal definition, Another is informal definition. Formal definition means system for measuring, evaluating, and communicating an enterprise's performance, financial position, and cash flows to external decision makers. Informal definition is language of business. Magic of accounting. Voluminous transactions, pieces of data can be summarized on four financial reports. There are very important financial reports. Four are very essential reports. First is statement of financial position. In the past, before adopting IFRS, we called that was balance sheet. But since IFRS, we call another name statement of financial positions. In Korean, balance sheet words in Korean language 대차대조표, but since IFRS, so we called statements of financial position is 재무상태표 in Korean word. Statements of financial position is in Korean word 재무상태표. Second is income statement. Third is a statement of changes in owner's equity. Final is cash flow statements. For financial report is very important to understand what the company is going on, the company's performance data. That's very important. You had better study accounting is to understand for financial report, So you have to read statements of financial position, income statement, statements of changes in owner's equity, cash flow statements. To understand the company's performance, you have to read and analyze for financial report. Very important. I'm going to emphasize again. First report is statements of financial position. In the past, we called balance sheet. Second is income statement and statements of changes in owner's equities, cash flow statements. The difference between statements of financial position and the income statements. Income statement is period report, from 1st January to 31st December. That's 1 year, financial year. But statement of financial position is some specific date, as of December 31st, 2020. Just 1 day, specific days, we can know the statement of financial positions. Income statement is a period, 1 year period, or 6 months period, or 3 months period, also 1 month period. Income statement is a period report, Statement of financial position is just 1 day, some specific days, That's very important. Next is accounting information users and their information needers. There are many accounting information users, Major users are stakeholders, information needers. The first, investors or owners. To investors or owners, they need some information needs to evaluate the risk inherent in and the return provided by their investment. Second is creditors, to evaluate a firm's financial capacity to meet its obligation when they become due. Managers, to evaluate the financial strengths and the weaknesses of the business in the process of planning, organizing, and running the business. tax authorities to determine tax revenue based on the company's profitability and to know whether the company is complying with the tax laws. Regulatory agencies to monitor whether the company is operating within prescribed rules. They are interested in the efficient allocation of resources. Suppliers to evaluate whether amount owing to them will be paid when due. Customers to evaluate the company's continuing ability to honor product warranties and support the product lines. Employees to evaluate the company's financial ability to pay increased wages and benefit. Other uses: security exchange, trade association, general public, and others for various reasons. There are many stakeholders. First is investors or owners. Second is creditors. So the managers. Fourth are tax authorities. Fifth is regulatory agencies. Next is suppliers, customers, employees, and other users. I'm going to tell you next objective 2. Objective 2 are the branches of accounting. The first is cost accounting. Second is managerial accounting. Third are auditing. Fourth is tax accounting. Final is governmental accounting. There's 5 branches of accounting. First is cost accounting. Second is managerial accounting. Third is auditing. Fourth is tax accounting. Fifth is governmental accountings. 자, next objective 3. Types of business entities. Common forms of business organizations are proprietorship, partnership, corporation. 3 forms of business organizations. 자, first, proprietorship is owned by one individual. One individual owns. That means comprises a major proportion of business organizations, requires low cost of organizing, and is limited to financial resources of the owner, is used by small businesses. Next is partnership. Partnership is similar to a proprietorship, except that it is owned by 2 or more individuals, and that means comprises a small proportion of business organizations, combines the skill and the resources more than one person. Proprietorship is owned by one person. Partnership is more than 2 persons, more than 2 or more individuals owned. That is a partnership. The final form of business is corporation. Corporation is organized as a separate legal taxable entities, generate major proportion of revenues and profit, comprises 20% of the businesses, ownership divided into shares of stock, stockholders, shareholders, can raise large amount of funds by issuing shares, used by large firms. That is in the present most company are form of corporation. So they issued shares to raise money, or sometimes they issues instead of shares, they issued company bond or debenture. They issue the money by issuing shares or issuing bond. They raise the money, In Korea, the biggest company is Samsung Electronics Company Ltd. Samsung Electronics Company is Ltd. The market share of Korean stock market capitalizations more than 20% is Samsung Electronics. 20%, more than 20% Samsung Electronics. So I'm going to review first time. We are going to use textbook Ifrs Principles of Accounting. So you have an order bookstore or direct publishing company. I gave some informations, So in chapter 1, Introduction to Financial Accounting, Object 1 was scope and purposes of financial accounting. That was financial accounting two kind definitions. One was system for measuring, evaluating, and communicating an enterprise's performance, financial position, and cash flow to external decision makers. Informal definition was language of business. 그리고 magic of accounting, voluminous transaction, and can be summarized on 4 financial report. 이 4 financial report is very essential and very important. The names are statements of financial position, and the second is income statement. Third, statements of changes in owner's equity. Final was a cash flow statement. Also, accounting information users and their information needs. Users are stakeholders, many stakeholders. They are investors, owners, creditors, managers, tax authority, regulatory agencies, suppliers, customers, employees are the users, And also other branches of accounting, other major branches of accounting. First is cost accounting, second is managerial accounting, third is auditing, fourth is tax accounting, fifth is governmental accounting. Type of business entity are 3 forms. One is proprietorship, second was partnership, the third is a corporation. The volume of common forms of business are corporation, but the number of business organization is proprietorship and the partnership is more than 80%. The volume is, volume is corporations total volume is more than 80%, but number of organization form is proprietorship and the partnership. So you had better analyze financial statements related to corporations, So you had better study and analyze corporations' financial statements. That's why from now on we are going to study corporations' financial statement. So we are going to have 10 minutes break time. So second hour, I'm going to tell you about primary financial statement and business activities, So underlying concept of financial accounting, accounting equation, and accounting equation, some definitions, That is second hours. And the final hour is we are going to show some examples of transaction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally we are going to tell you accounting terminology in chapter 1. Chapter 1, English terminology and the Korean version. I'm going to tell you English terminology and the Korean versions. You had better understand English terminology and the Korean version. Both of you had better understand. 자, so we are going to have 10 minutes break time. 10 minutes break time. See you second hours.